What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring to you another vacuum that's in my vacuum collection. This time it is of a vacuum that I keep forgetting that I have and have neglected to make a video on until now. So today I am here to bring for your viewing pleasure a Hoover Concept 1 model U3335. This is one of the many examples of a late model Hoover Concept 1 that I've always wanted to add to the collection after getting an example of a non-self-propelled one, then an early example, and now I have a later example. And this is a 2-for-1. It is not only a later example of a Concept 1 with the power switch at your fingertips up there, it also is a lower end example that has the cord wrapped around the side instead of having the automatic cord rewind. So that's less room for failure and not have to worry about parts becoming unavailable as much compared to the automatic cord rewind models. And after getting this vacuum on eBay for about a while ago, is when I got this on eBay. I've used this a couple of times, and I can honestly say with confidence that the Hoover Concept 1 has quickly become my second most favorite vacuum to collect in the vacuum collecting hobby, with the Hoover Elite being number 1, of course. This has definitely become quite a favorite of mine, and which is quite a good reason. These things have excellent carpet cleaning performance, and they are somewhat, and this is going to be controversial when I say this, it'll be on different sides of the quarter. Some parts of these I see is very similar to that of an Elite, which obviously the Elite would take inspiration off this design and would make a lightweight upright vacuum. But unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, being that it's my favorite vacuum and all, the Hoover Elite does have some cheap made quality compared to these old concepts, which these have been out since the late 70s. So they're honestly built like tanks. They're honestly, in my opinion, the last good Hoover before the quality started to drop. But although as much as I'm bashing on my all-time favorite vacuum platform, I will say those are still very well built compared to today's Hoovers. It's just these are admittedly built better. So let's go ahead and give a walkthrough of the cleaner. So right up on top here, you do have your handle-mounted power switch for on, and then you do have a power surge feature, which is just a momentary switch that you can hold right there to have the motor run at its highest speed. But the reason why it's a momentary switch is because the motor was originally not designed to run at that high of speed, so that's just only temporary. So don't know whether or not that's true or not, but that's just only my correlation with this power switch design with the power surge. You also do have your switch to control your self-propelled on and off, which is another thing these Concept 1s were famous for, is they were being marketed as self-propelled vacuums with a transmission to help move the vacuum forward and reverse, which this would later get carried on into other vacuums like the Power Max, which is essentially an updated Concept 1 with a hose. Then later the Power Drive, which is an Elite body adapted onto a lower base of a Concept. And then a wind tunnel self-propelled, which for the most part use the same transmission, but a little bit of minor changes to adapt to that platform, but still the same self-propelled feature either way. We're obviously going to see the demonstration of that later. But anyway, right here is your power cord mounted on the side, typical on these lower end models. Does run right here out the back of the handle, very similar to a Hoover convertible of the time. So as we move along down here, there's right here your Concept 1 label right there, as well as your signature dual beam headlight on these concepts. Right down here, you do have your nice Hoover lettering. This is Hoover Heavy Duty, which these honestly are heavy duty. There's Power Drive and has the Quadraflex agitator, and has self-adjusting ranges, which are 3 settings. You have low/medium, which this head does self-adjust. And you do out here, you have a setting for plush, and then you do have shag. Ideally, you would just leave it on plush, especially for the pile of my carpet, but I always like to leave it on low/medium so it sits on the carpet as best as it can to give the best seal. So, and besides, this thing has a self-propelled transmission. If this thing gets hard to push, that self-propelled transmission will definitely back me up. It also does have brushed edge cleaning on each side. A little bit of a paint stain right there, but not too big a deal. And it does have a nice blue rubber bumper to match the color of the cleaner. And also the blue color hubcaps as well on the wheels. So now let's go ahead and tip this thing back to show you the underside. So right here underneath is its aforementioned Quadraflex agitator, which is essentially a brush roll with 4 replaceable brush strips, which unfortunately these are no longer being made anymore. So unfortunately, if you run out of brush strips, you got to pray to God that some eBay seller has these replacements new old stock, or that someone's parting out a Quadraflex from another concept one, or else you're SOL. So, but what gives these brush rolls such excellent cleaning performance is not because the bristles are very sparse but pretty soft, but they also have these little features along the back side of the strips that are brush roll stiffeners. Mainly they keep the bristles stiff because they're so soft. They keep them straight and steady so that they agitate and clean the carpet very good. And that's what gives these their signature carpet cleaning performance, which this was much more innovative compared to the Elite, which just has stiff bristle brush rolls and no stiffeners. So these at the time definitely cleaned fantastic in their day. And they are the orange strips. They're not as long as the white bristle ones, which those I think are much longer bristles than these orange ones. There are green bristle brush strips, but those are more commonly seen on the canister variants. But these clean amazing for what they are. And you do right here have on the back your self-propelled transmission. And obviously your real wheels on the back. Let's go ahead and pull this guy back up. Now we'll go ahead and show you the model number on the back here. Just gonna pull this thing back to show you that. This here is Hoover Cleaner model U3335, 120 volts, 60 hertz. It has a 7.2 amp motor, so the amperage was pretty on par with the Hoover Elites from the mid-90s that used that same style of motor. And you also do have the bag type A. The brush roll belt is 38528-008, which to my knowledge a Hoover wind tunnel non-self-propelled belt will fit this. If you can't find these kind of belts, the self-propelled transmission belt is 160147AG. And to serial date these, the first and second digit will decode the month, third and fourth will decode the year. So this vacuum was manufactured 08 of 89. So this means it was made in August of 1989. For household use only, made in the USA. That is one thing to love about these old Hoovers, is that they are US made. And let's go ahead and show you the bags right here. Typical concept fashion, they are mounted in a soft cloth bag along the back. This is running a HEPA cloth type A bag, which definitely increases filtration by quite a bit and filter out much better than even the genuine paper bags do of the time. And this being one of the more base models, it doesn't have the scent tablet on the top. So, enough of that. I think you guys pretty much want to see this thing up and running, so let's go ahead and do just that. And release the cord. And the cord is obviously not the longest, but it's pretty good for what it is. But to be fair, the ones with the cord rewind aren't really that long either, so I think cord length may be similar for all I know. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. And now we will go ahead and turn this thing on and give it a demo of it running. You have these interesting dual release pedals on either side. This was a concept quirk back in the day that carried over to the Elite-based Hoover power drive. So let's go ahead and switch on the self-propelled. And now we'll go ahead and turn this thing on and give it a run for you. Now, typical concept fashion, and this carried over into Elites, they are pretty loud when they're running. And that's just the nature of them. They're naturally loud. So headphone users or those with sensitive hearing, I would advise turning down your volume for this part. So, here we go. Such a great and smooth running cleaner. A little bit loud, but still an excellent performer. The only thing that I would say would take some getting used to if you're ever new to these kind of cleaners is the self-propelled transmission on these. And I think this would speak for any other Hoovers. I got an old vintage self-propelled Dial-O-Matic that's the same as these. The self-propelled is pretty snappy on this. It's super responsive. It'll pretty much just pull you back and forth to the point that you almost feel like you get a case of whiplash when using it. That's just how responsive these transmissions are. But anyway, with that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover Concept 1. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.